When last we left our intrepid adventurers, the party had just left the village of Stephen's Hold with letters assuring an alliance between the Kennets of Stephen's Hold and Southern Deserata's king. In Stephen's Hold, Seraph had seen a statue of himself with wings, something he's not had since coming to this world when he lost them. As they journey, Australia is deep in thought, knowing that one of the letters they carry is an offer of marriage from Hallister, the priest of Stephen's Hold. Scala tells the girl not to be concerned about the letter. She should trust her parents to eventually make a good match for her. She says that a child who is a mage is not something to throw away on a bad marriage, she says. There is a wistful tone in her voice as Scala says that, as if maybe she doesn't believe it. In the night, Seraph has one of his recurring dreams. In this one, he finds himself in a forest, similar to the one they've been traveling in. Seraph's evil twin has Scala tied to a tree. Evil Seraph tells him that if they want, they can have their way with her. She's theirs just for the taking. Seraph continues to try to keep his evil self talking, hoping that he'll wake up. When he turns his back for a second, his evil self draws a sword and drives it through his heart. Both Seraph and Scala wake up the camp with their screams. They consult Kerberdane about the fact that they both had the same dream. He has no answer for what the meaning of that could be. Only Akai and Marcus are untroubled that night. The next day finds them many miles from Stephen's Hold, and they take a slower, more leisurely pace. They begin to find small stick-like dolls in several clearings. As they continue, the effigies become larger and more vicious-looking. Marcus stops to examine several of them. They're made out of sticks and dried excrement. He whispers for the others to come closer, and as they gather round, he tells them that these totems are the work of a type of orc called Sheesh. These totems mean that there are several war bands in the area, and as if on cue, an inhuman scream rises from the trees around them, and an arrow catches Marcus, first one, then another, then a third one, in his chest. Most of the other arrows fall harmlessly amongst the party. Marcus reaches over and pulls the arrows out of his chest, and then draws his blade as the inhuman creatures emerge from the trees. Marcus motions to the others to stand and fight, no matter what. He says Sheesh like nothing better than running down a broken foe, but they are far from broken, he says. The horde of creatures break through the tree line. Seraph slides over towards Australia and winks. He says, "You keep them at a distance, and I'll get the ones that happen to get closer." Australia nods back to him. The creatures start at a slow trot, and then to a medium trot, and then a full run. Suddenly a blast of energy blows up in front of the beastmen, tossing their bodies high into the air. A spell from Kerberdane cuts a swath through the beasts before they can come in contact with the humans. Marcus pulls his blade and holds it above his head and countercharges. The beasts are tossed into confusion. Seraph and Akai start to chase the retreating Sheesh, but are admonished by Marcus, telling them it's best to let the creatures run. The characters hold the ground for several minutes. An occasional taunt comes from the trees, along with a poorly aimed arrow. After the noise has died down, Marcus leads the party another direction. Scala asks the paladin if the creatures will follow. Marcus says that they will go where they are driven by others. The paladin says that he is less worried about an attack from Sheesh. Rather, he worries about a Sheesh warband being pushed by someone like Van Cherie. As they travel, Scala asks why Deserata would employ Sheesh. she's told by Marcus about the Deseradan Civil War and how northern Deserata has taken a turn to evil thanks to the Queen. He says that the carnage lays all at the feet of Distaria. He mentions that the most sorely missed are his companions, the flower of the Church of Chaldicea, the paladin cavalry that was destroyed by her. Estralia says that her mother Morgan was the high priestess of the Chaldite temple in Deserata, and told her the story, how Prime Paladin Gloria Markby, against orders, led the paladins on a charge into the horrors from Deserata, and they were all killed. Marcus nods and says, but they provided cover for the rest of the army to escape. I would have been amongst them had I not had a broken arm at the time. Scala is not sure if the paladin sounds disappointed or relieved. The party reaches the canal that runs north to south. Kerberdane notes that it's blocked in places by wagons and baggage cast off by the routing southern Deseratan army. It'll be a long time before this is fixed, he says. They follow the canal south towards Lament. At the end of the week, traveling south, they step out of the forest and see the bright blue waters of the inland sea, and on the shore, the Manthusian fortress of Lament. Kerberdane mentions that the fortress has never been taken by force. It was created by a mighty wizard known as Triage Lament, and supposedly was built by the wizard in a single night. The party makes for the fortress.